You call a T-Rex.
Good morning.
Morning, Sean. How are you?
Hey,
Good morning,
good.
how are you?
Good morning, guys. Hey, Monisha.
Hi.
All right, guys, it is 9 o'clock this morning. We'll go ahead and get started. Good to see everybody on Zoom and in person. We've got one person over here in Mandeville and several of you on Zoom. So welcome to Value Proposition Ignite series. Oh, I can take this little deal off there. All right, guys, so we'll go ahead and get started. I hope everybody's doing okay this morning. Thanks for joining us. My name is Sean Fox. I work out of the Hammond office as the associate broker. I believe I know everybody on here. Let's see, got a couple people still coming on. So it's good to see everybody this morning. How are things going for you so far with Ignite?
Good.
Good, Vinny?
Good. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So are y'all kind of attending all of them, or are you kind of picking and choosing sort of thing topics?
I've been doing I've attended so far all of them.
Awesome. It's really beneficial. All of them? Okay, good. It's really beneficial. And, each time you attend, you go through this series, doesn't matter if you're a new agent or a seasoned agent, you'll benefit from this so much. And really, it's all about mastery and just mastering these topics and putting them into place a little bit at a time, So that's what it's all about. So I commend you guys for being here, and I hope it'll be beneficial for you. So today the focus is on you and the value you bring to your customers, your community, and your business. We call this your value proposition in the real estate world because you must provide value to your clients. So that's what we're going to learn about today. If you don't have a value proposition or you're not sure about what that is or how to get one, we're going to teach you that today. So let's just dive right in. Everybody has their booklets and information to go along. Oh, you know what? We probably need to share this screen so you guys can see what's going on. Sorry about that. Should have gotten that straight beforehand, guys. Sorry about that. Let's see. Are we KWU? Is that where you're getting your info from?
Yes, ma'am. That's where you can get it from. But we've also had it sent to us, I think, in various forms.
Okay, I apologize for that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no. You're A-okay. Thank you so much for teaching the class to us today.
Absolutely. Does anybody see value proposition on this one?
You mean on the screen or on KW Connect?
We're going to KW Connect.
Through Connect? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. It's okay, thanks. I'm sorry about this, guys. I thought we were all set up, but we're not, because what you're seeing and I'm seeing were two different things. Okay,
In-person material training. That's where we're going.
perfect. Thank you. I'm sorry, what was your name?
Natasha.
Natasha. I'm Sean. It's nice to meet you.
And it goes down to Ignite 2.0.
See, we all learn from each other.
Oh, go back out. It was up. It's almost at the top. There it is.
Here we are.
Next, click on that one. Another material.
Participant resources. All right, can everybody see the screen?
No,
I can't. It's blank.
side still.
Can't see it? All right, let's get up here what you need and see if y'all can see this. All right, can you see that?
I just see a white screen.
Yeah, same here.
You'll
Same
only
here.
see a white screen.
Right, white screen.
Hang on, let's get Miss Jill to connect this for us. This is the office computer, so hang on just a sec, guys. Take like a 60-second break.
It says you are sharing it.
I know it's weird. Let me see, they can't see it. Ask them again. That's when you to X out of everything. Obviously, it's a white screen, so should we X out of it?
Okay, hold on. Let me do this. It looks like before you were on this and now you're on this.
So we're good.
maybe,
Maybe they can see.
I think they should be able to see this now.
So we click that.
Yes.
This one?
So this is what you're on. You were on this before.
Okay.
So maybe we're gonna.
Open Zoom. Get out of that.
Are we not in?
We're already-
Well, you're already in.
We're already in. We just need to share. Jeez.
Okay, so what are you, go to your presentation on here?
This is it.
Okay, ask them if they can see it now.
Can you guys see the screen?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, we're good. Thank you, Jill. Thank you. Had a little technical issue. Sorry, guys. All right, so the 3 aspects of service is where we are. Okay, guys, I'm just trying to match up the instructor presentation to the student presentation here. So the 3 aspects of service: purpose, value proposition, and fiduciary are the 3 different types of service. So our purpose and what successful agents do every day, there's growing a business versus running a business. So growing a business is lead generating for buyers and sellers, making seller listing presentations, getting those listings. That's what's going to generate the business for us. Making buyer presentations and getting listings. So anything to do with buyer presentations, seller presentations. In order to do that, we have to provide some type of value to those buyers or some type of value to those sellers, or else they're not going to see the value in utilizing us as an agent. So when they get to choose from lots of agents, why would they choose us? What sets us apart, kind of thing, is where we're coming from. So here's the secret to being a successful real estate agent. There really is no secret, guys. There's no magic secret. It's just in doing the work. Success leaves clues. So we know exactly where what successful agents do every day. Every day, agents do 2 types of activities. They grow their business and they run their business. So those are the 2 types of things that they do. So we have to know certain things. Each activity on the slide, let's see, what's important in your business, let's talk about that. So the goal of our time here is to model what successful agents do every day and show you how to do it. So that's why we're here today, to provide that value to you in that respect. So I'm trying to find out where this matches up. So there's 3 aspects of service: to deliver service, build daily success habits, define our value. We have to know and state our value, and then we recap our ahas to see what we've learned. Because we have to take it in tiny bits and pieces. We have to see, hey, how does this, what does this look like for us? How does this fit into our daily routine? Where can we plug it in on our schedule? So that's kind of what's going on there. So we're gonna spend our time together doing those things. And sorry, guys, I'm trying to find where the material matches up to this. Okay, let's just go to reflecting on our value on this page. What words would you use to describe yourself? This is going to help you come up with your value. So what words would you use to describe yourself? Kind of take a moment and maybe think about those or jot them down on some words that maybe if somebody said, hey, if you could describe, Natasha, if somebody could describe you, or Vinny or Lanisha or Warren, if somebody could describe you, what would they say? What would they say about you? Or how would you describe yourself? Because sometimes how we describe ourselves versus how other people describe us is different. So we have to take those into account. So what words would you use to describe yourself? Maybe jot down or put a couple of those into play. Okay, so how would people you know describe you? If you said, hey, if you described me, if you asked some people that were close to you, some things that described you, and sometimes, you know, somebody may tell us something and we don't agree with it, or we do agree with it. So how would people you know personally describe you? So maybe jot down a couple of things or think about a couple of things that other people might say about you, like you're a good communicator, you're a good listener. I like, you know, hearing you telling me directions or things because it's real clear, you know, things like that. Or you're always on time, or you're a person of high integrity, or whatever it is. And what skills do you have that make you great at real estate? If they say, geez, Vinny, you could sell anything to anyone, right? Whatever it might be. So what experiences do you have that could make you great at real estate? Maybe you have past experience in sales. Maybe you grew up in real estate. Maybe none of those are true. So what would make you great at this? So jot down a couple of things there. Just take a few seconds to do that.
So I can't get your PowerPoint to open, but maybe you can. But if you go under Ignite, select your resources, and see, that's where your information pertains to.
And here's the interesting part is here's
So see, here's all your notes and stuff like that.
what's funny is that's what's
Okay, because then it's like color sheet in there, and there is a presentation. So if you go into here, mine's not going to be this stuff. You go into today, you have your presentation here. This one, but it should pull up PowerPoint for you to go through slides. It's not. Because if I pull up a different day, I can pull up the PowerPoint, so it's not in this one. Like here, if I can get into, I can pull up the presentation, so it downloads the PowerPoint. But it's not doing this. Yeah, presentation is not doing this one, but here's a PowerPoint. And it goes, it's not. That's okay, just try to help.
I know. Can you think of anything else that you can do that might help?
Unless you want to go back to the pages.
On here?
I don't know why the PowerPoint's not opening.
Yeah, our guys, we've got a little bit of a challenge because Natasha and I were discussing we're over here in person, and the fact that the PowerPoint presentation for this class is not opening up. We've tried it, so the only thing we have to go by is this. So I hope that this will be okay for you. Are y'all okay on your end?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll just keep moving through the material. I apologize for that. We'll just have to be a little flexible and still get the information. So some of the things that we have to fill in the blank aren't there. Okay, so consider the three aspects of service, which are purpose, value proposition, and fiduciary. How are these aspects already present in your relationship with your client? And how could you improve your service based on your understanding of these three aspects? Your purpose, your value proposition. So your purpose, you know, we know the word fiduciary from real estate classes, right? Our fiduciary responsibility, our responsibility to, you know, our client, what that fiduciary responsibility is. So, and also our value proposition, you know, what is your value? Somebody said, you know, why should I hire you to sell my house? We had better be prepared to answer something and ask, you know, answer their questions. So we could say, even if you got nervous and you didn't know what to say, you could always say, I get home sold. I get home sold, and here's why, you know, or whatever it is. But that needs to be the case. If you're a brand new agent who's never sold a home, it might not be a great thing to say, right? Because we have to back up what we say. But you could say something as simple as that. I get results, I get home sold, you know, things like that. So whatever it is for you, you have to come up with something that you've rehearsed and feel comfortable with, that's about you, and that is, you know, some skills that are unique to you, maybe that you could present to them. You could say something such as, you know, I enjoy communicating with you, letting you know what's next in the process. I'll let you know some expectations of what you can expect from me as an agent. And I also am going to expect some things from you, and I'll communicate what those things are, you know, such as having the house ready for showing, such as, you know, responding to things in a timely manner when we get offers. All of these types of things are going to help set you apart and help you communicate why they should use you and why you bring value to the table. So those are some different types of things you can think of. So what buyers want? Most buyers, or over half of the buyers, 52%, want to help find the right home. They want you to help find the right place. In order to do that, we have to know what they need, what they want, you know, what they're looking for in a home. So we may give them some sort of little survey and ask them, what exactly are you looking for? What suits your family? Which location, which price range? Tell me more about the home you're looking for. Does it have a garage or a carport? Do you need a fence? Do you want it in a subdivision? You know, we have to ask these questions to them. So over half of them want you to help find the right home to buy. That's what they want. They just want you to help them find the right place. But in order to determine what the right place is, we have to ask those types of questions. 14% want to help buyer negotiate the terms of the sale. They want your help. You're the professional. They're counting on to help negotiate those terms of the sale, maybe to give them the closing cost or to negotiate a good price for them, that sort of thing, and to work for them on their behalf. Price negotiations, the terms of the sale, like the closing costs. Maybe they want that refrigerator or, you know, some appliances in addition to those built-in appliances. Maybe they need something specific like a survey or elevation certificate, or, you know, all these kinds of things that can be negotiated in the sale. They're counting on you to be the professional person to negotiate those things for them and get them the best deal for the least amount of money with the least amount of problems. That's what they're hoping for, and that's what we're hoping we can provide. See, that could also be a good value proposition for you too. You know, my goal for you is to, you know, provide you, to get you the best house you can for the least amount of money with the least amount of problems. That would be the goal. So these are the type of things that we can say that help set us apart and help us provide value for the buyer or the seller. Determining what comparable homes are selling for. If there's a subdivision, it's a lot easier. We can get some good comps in that subdivision and see what things are worth to make sure they're not overpaying for a property and they're getting it for fair market value, and that we're negotiating properly with our pricing and we can show them and justify the price. We can help determine how much the home buyer can afford. You know, just because a lender says they qualify for $225 doesn't necessarily mean they want to spend every penny of that $225. So whenever they, we have to test that ceiling. So when they say, you know, they're qualified for $225, we have to ask them, did you check with your lender to see how much your note would be with taxes and insurance for $225? And if they say, you know what, I didn't, I was just super excited, I always tell them, go back to your lender and ask how much your note would be with taxes and insurance for that amount, because you may not feel comfortable with that. They may not be within your budget. And by all means, we want to get them the most house we can, but we want to make sure it's also affordable and within their budget. So we help find and arrange financing. If they don't have a lender of their own, we can recommend some names and numbers and get them linked up with someone who can run their credit and see which programs they qualify for based on their income and their credit. They may qualify for 100% financing and minimal out of pocket, and that may be a really good thing for them because maybe they don't have a lot of money out of pocket to spend. So these are the types of things. You know, maybe they're a veteran, they qualify for 100% VA financing. Maybe they want the FHA product where they put the 3.5% down. So linking them up with a resourceful lender who can help determine which product is best for them is going to be really helpful. So help, you know, helping them in a certain neighborhood, helping renters to find other property. Whenever you help somebody with the rental, go ahead, stay in touch with those folks, put them in your database, put them in command. When their lease is up in 6 months or a year, you may be able to sell them a house. And always ask, whenever somebody calls to rent, first question I ask is, you know, I'd be glad to help you. Is there any particular reason you're not buying right now? Sometimes they'll tell you, you know what? I'm not sure if I can or not. And that's the next question is, would you like to see if you can? because maybe they don't know the steps. Maybe they need somebody to walk them through, or maybe you link them up with a lender and the lender says, you know what, they're not ready now, but if they do X, Y, Z in 6 months to a year, they might be ready to purchase a home. And who do you think is going to help them? You are. So there you go. So there's all kinds of things. So that's what buyers want. What do they value? Buyers value somebody being honest and trustworthy. They want somebody who's going to work for them. They want somebody they can believe. If somebody tells you that they only want houses up to 175, 3-bedroom, 2 houses, for up to 175, and you keep sending them properties 200 and above, they're going to begin to question whether or not you have their best interests at heart, right? So they want somebody who's honest and trustworthy. They want somebody who's listening to them. They want somebody who responds, they can reach and responds to them in a timely manner. If they can't ever reach you, or you don't respond back in a timely manner, then they may, hesitate. Or if they feel that they can't trust you or you're not being honest with them, those could all present issues. Agent's experience, if, someone is, you don't have to have a ton of experience. You could even say as a new agent, you know what? I'm surrounded with I work for a fantastic company. I'm surrounded by great agents who assist, with questions and who are available to help as needed in the event that I should need any help. And I have more time to dedicate to you as a new agent. You don't have to explain yourself, but you can simply explain that you have a lot of support, you work for a great company with a lot of resources and a lot of folks to help you, that sort of thing. The reputation of an agent, this is a reputation business, guys, reputation, big time. So you want to make it a good one. You want to make sure you're a person of integrity. You want to make sure you do the right thing, that you're, you communicate effectively and get along with other agents, that you're, provide a great experience to that buyer or that seller. And as you build your business, you will see that those folks had such a great experience. They want to not only utilize your services again, they want to recommend you to others as well. So those are real important, because this is definitely a reputation business. And we want to make sure we have a good one. When you see the other agent's name on the sign, you want to be able to smile and say, awesome, it's going to be a great experience. So if what buyers value, if the agent is a friend or family member, a lot of times, just like what we said, if they've had a pleasant experience, that other person already knows. If somebody refers you, they're referring you for a reason, because they had a great experience. So they want others to share in that experience. And that person's more likely to utilize your services because they already have been told that they've had a great experience. So that's what's happening there. If you have knowledge of the neighborhood, if you're from that area, if you live in that subdivision, you have knowledge of that neighborhood or that area, you know what you're talking about. You keep up with the market. You tell them before they tell you. A lot of times these buyers are out looking at realtor.com, Trulia, and all these sites, and they're telling us about a house before we've even done it. So every morning, go onto the MLS and check the hot sheet. Check that hot sheet and see what new properties are there. And if you got a buyer in a certain range or needs a certain house, you may find it there, and you want to be able to tell them before they tell you. So all these things are critical and provide value to the buyer. It helps them it helps them know that you really care for them and you're looking out for them. You're really working for them. Okay. Be a good listener. Care about people, All these remind me of the, Keller Williams, the Y4C2Ts, our culture that we represent, our, high integrity, professional, caring, all of these things encompass all of this stuff that will help you get repeat business over and over and over in time. Be timely with your responses. Respond in a timely manner, of course, on contracts by all means, but just in general to another agent or to a buyer or to a seller. Let them know from the get-go, hey, here's what you can expect from me. I will return your calls. If I miss your call, I will return it, that same day or within that hour or whatever it is. We want to be careful not to overpromise and underdeliver. We want to, do the opposite. So if we tell them something, we want to make sure we follow through with that. We want to be accessible. Agents Association with a particular firm, of course, we work for a phenomenal company. not a problem. Sometimes it's important for them to know that you volunteer, or your company is involved with the community sort of thing. It could be important to some people, but you can see the left side holds a lot more value than the right side of that. So professional designations held by the agent is not as important as who you are. Who are you? How can you help them, kind of thing. So those are going to be the things that are really important to them. All right, everybody's doing good? Anybody have anything they need to address or anything right now? Good. All right. So
Doing great.
client-centered, you're good?
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
want to say
Yeah.
something?
No, all good.
Awesome. Okay. So client-centered language, the buyers, it's all about them, guys, not us. It's all about the buyers. So we have to think about how, even if we're having a funky day, or, we're having ourselves a minute, they don't need to know anything about it, right? We need to always be early for appointments. We need to be on time. We need to be calm. We don't need to show up and tell them all about what has happened in our world. It's all about them. So they need to feel that, okay? So let's think about some skills that you have or services that align with what buyers want. So say sometimes, sometimes we might do more talking than listening. So we may have to turn that around and say, okay, I'm going to practice active listening and really listen in. And when they tell me, it's kind of like somebody saying, hey, how you doing, Vinny? And before Vinny can tell me how he's doing, I've moved on. If I'm going to ask Vinny how he's doing, I'm going to wait for a response, right? Because I really want to know. I asked you because I really want to know how you're doing. Then we have to listen, okay? But if they feel like you're not really listening and you're just asking to ask, and you're not asking because you care or want to know, it's going to create kind of a deal. This is a relationship. We have to value those relationships with them and provide that value to them to use us, okay? So what skills do you have or services that align with what buyers want? And you can think about, what skills do I not have but I want to work on and be real intentional to improve in these areas to help make a better experience for them? What characteristics or habits do you have that align with what buyers value? Do we have characteristics or habits? I like to think about, we're in October, we're pretty much in the last quarter. So any business we do today, right now, might close by the end of the year, but most of it's going to be working on business for next year at this point. So we have to line that up and say, what can we do between now and the end of the year? What are some little goals and little things we can do between now and the end of the year that we can work on? Some little steps, some tiny little habits we can put in place that we can carry over into the new year for next year to help us continue those on and create that, that forward momentum to carry us forward. So we have to think about those. What books are we reading? Who are we surrounding ourselves with? Which trainings are we going to? By you attending Ignite, and by you going to contracts class, and by you picking and choosing what you can benefit from and learn from. Don't forget about your CEs. I've got to give a plug in for that between now and the end of the year. Our CEs are due our continuing education credits. So be sure you take care of all that stuff. So plug that in on your calendar between now and the end of the year to make sure you've done everything you can. Renew your license, take care of your CEs, which classes make you a business plan. There's some business planning classes. Go to business plan to make sure, you've got all that in place. All right. So we got off subject a little bit to digress, but it's okay. It's good stuff. So if we really don't have any partners that we can partner up with, because you guys are on Zoom, and then we've got, a small group up here in the training room. So we'll move on to sellers. We talked about what buyers want, and what do sellers want? What is going to make someone hire us to sell their house? What do they want? It's important to know what sellers want. Won't surprise you to hear that they want a lot of things that the buyers want. So what are those things? They want you to help market their home. They want to know, and they're going to ask you, hey, why should I hire you to sell my home? What are you going to do for me? How are you going to market my home? These are questions that these folks are going to ask, and we had better have some sort of answer that makes sense to them in order to provide value. So we have to answer that, okay? Don't forget such simple things as, I'm going to put up a yard sign. I'm going to put it into the MLS, which is the multiple listing service, which goes out to thousands of agents and is on the internet and go routes to these sites. Don't forget these common things such as that we may not even be telling them, that helps them understand what we're going to do to help them. So don't forget those things. Help price their home competitively. In order to do that, we have to really hone in on what's going on in the market. Homes that are similar to theirs, doing a market analysis, running the comps for their subdivision or their area. Or if there are no homes or it's not in a subdivision or nothing close by or right there that's similar, then we go outside and then we expand our area and we shrink it back in to get some accurate numbers. Because what's going to happen is if we overprice that house, it could sit, or when the appraisal comes in, it might not work and the numbers don't work. And then we've created a situation where, we might not be able to sell the home. So we want to be careful. We want to help sell the home within a specific time frame. In order to do that, we want to ask, hey guys, where are you heading? What brings you to sell the house? We need to know this for a few reasons. We need to know when and where. Perhaps we can help them with wherever they're going next. Don't ever forget to ask that. So we have to ask them, where are you going next? When do you need to be there? So if we need to sell your home in 60 days and you're moving to Florida, do you have someone to help you there? And what can we do to sell and price your home appropriately and sell it in the next 60 days to get you to Florida? We're going to have to act pretty aggressively in order to make that happen. Although today's market is really good, right?
How accurate is the price valuation on remodel?
I don't know. I'm not sure where the stats are on it, but you can go through different channels and see. Natasha's asking how accurate the stats are on Remine. So basically you want to go through different channels, go through your MLS. The easiest thing you can do is to pull. Obviously is great when it's in subdivision and there's other things that have sold. It makes it really easy because then all we have to do is take out a couple of things that, adjustments for somebody who doesn't have a fence or somebody who has vinyl versus brick or garage versus carport or an extra bedroom or no carpet or upgrade. So these are the types of things we can adjust for. But in general, we're looking at price per square foot, any day of the week. So those are the things that are going to help us. But do find a couple of different things. Your best bet is going to be your comps. The numbers don't lie. So you want the numbers to come from a reliable source. I would utilize the MLS first and go from there. All right. So they may want us to walk through, like to help the seller find ways to fix up the home and sell it. So the market's really great right now. A lot of times things are just obviously going into multiple offer and sell them really quickly. We may not even have to do that. So basically you want to walk through with fresh eyes from a buyer's perspective and walk through the home and see if there's anything they need to do. The biggest things that sell homes are going to be decluttering, packing it up, putting the stuff in a storage or in the garage, taking down personal photos, and cleaning. Those are going to be the main things that sell homes. So you could go through and maybe recommend if they have a lot of clutter or if they need cleaning or if they need to pack some stuff away or take down a bunch of photos. It's really hard for a buyer to come in and and see their stuff there if it's full of your photos and your family's last name on the door. And it's really hard. So you want to remove that and depersonalize it so they can envision themselves there. Okay. All right. So help the buyer with inspections and preparing for settlement, help with negotiations, of course, help them see homes that are available for purchase. Don't forget to ask where they're going. Where are you heading? How can I help you next? Help with inspections and paperwork. You want to walk them through. You want to be that professional resource and consultant that walks them through each step of the way. So you want to be able to walk them through so they know, what to expect and they know what's going to be happening next. And here's how long the inspection period is. And here's what you can do during the inspection period. You want to explain that part of the contract to them so they have a really good understanding of what's in that contract, what you're doing, and how it benefits them as well. help create and post videos of the, to provide tours of homes. During all the COVID and Corona stuff, you know, a lot of homes were sold unsight unseen. A lot of them did video tours. They weren't even shown, or during the inspection period, maybe the buyer got to go out and look. So we had to be really creative at getting some things, you know, in there to do, to find ways to show homes and maybe do videos. And some people went through with their phone and took just some short videos. Sometimes the seller did it because they didn't want anyone in there. Or a photographer could come through and do a video based on their pictures and add music, and you could put it out there. So really people wouldn't go into the home unnecessarily. So there's a lot of different things we could do. All right, what sellers value? What do they value? Guess what the number one thing is there? The reputation of the agent. 31% value the reputation. Do you think if somebody got a call and said, hey, you know, we're thinking about selling our house, but I'm having kind of an issue. I don't really know any realtors, you know, and sometimes, you know, it could be scary. Do you know anybody? And they'll say, yeah, absolutely. Let me recommend this person. I worked with them last, or they helped my brother or my friend. They provided a great experience. Let me give you their number so they can tell you how their experience was and see if you want to utilize their services. Okay, so that's going to be it. The reputation of the agent is amazing. So you want to always, you know, focus on that and making sure your reputation is good and stays good. Honesty and trustworthy, number 2. Do these sound familiar? Same thing on the buyer side as they are on the seller side. These same things are important. People want people with a good reputation, professional, honest, trustworthy. They want to know that they're going to be taken care of. So if the agent is a friend or family member, or they know of someone who used your services and they can provide that experience, that's why it's great for us to get customer reviews. If we can get some great customer reviews and you know that that person had a great experience, it's going to really help us out. So it really speaks for itself. Knowledge of the neighborhood, again, they want to know. If you get somebody who's in Baton Rouge or New Orleans and you don't know that area well enough to service that person at a high level, you can refer it out and collect a referral fee if you wanted to do that. So refer that business out and collect a referral fee. Don't lose money. Identify a Keller Williams agent in New Orleans or Baton Rouge or Natchitoches or Alexandria, Texas, wherever it is. Identify that person and get a referral fee. Send them a form. You'll collect 25% or so referral fee for making a phone call, and those folks will be taken care of. Don't drop the ball though. Keep in touch. Get in touch with those agents, communicate, see how things are going, and keep in touch with the clients to make sure they're taken care of and things are going well. Okay, so good listener, caring. People want to know. If they feel like you don't care, you're not listening, they're not going to be inclined to utilize your services. They're not so much concerned about professional designations. They just want to know you're a realtor, you have a license to do so, your commission, you know, they want to know about that. Particular firm, we already work for a great one. Hey. Oh, okay. And it seems as though
Jennifer, I think you're muted. Not Jennifer, I'm sorry. I think you're muted.
okay, guys, sorry, we muted for a sec because we had somebody come in to tell us something from the main, and then we had people join us. I'm sorry about that. So welcome to the new folks who did join us. We are, in a bit, we're going to take a break and see if we can flip over and get that PowerPoint presentation back up and going for us. But in the meantime, we'll just keep going for a little bit longer. All right, everybody's doing okay? Okay, so welcome to the new folks. This is Value Proposition Ignite class, and we're just about 45 minutes in or so. So now we're working on client-centered language for the sellers. What skills do you have? Think about some skills that you might have as an agent or services that you have that align with what sellers want. So basically, some of the things we just talked about, being accessible, being, knowing what they want, where do they have to be? Do they have to be in Florida in 60 days? We want to know this stuff so we can make sure they're getting service at a high level and that we're meeting their needs, that we're listening to them, that we're caring about them, that sort of thing. And if on the flip side, if we have some issues we want to work on, of course we all do, right? We all have strengths, we have weaknesses, challenges. We can work on those things to improve our skills and be real intentional about that as well, okay? So we want to make sure we're always in a constant state of learning and improving ourselves. So we did buyers and sellers. Let's talk about some growth opportunities or some ahas from buyers and sellers. Anybody have any ahas or some opportunities that you can see for growth that you want to share with the group?
Well, I'll say is that I actually just closed on my first transaction.
Congratulations, that's
About
awesome.
2 weeks or so ago. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it was kind of special because it was also for my sister, and it was her first home that she was buying. That was really
Nice.
cool. It was it was a good learning experience, even though she was still family, about what she was looking for. And just because she was my sister didn't mean she wasn't like any other buyer that I would work with out there. She still had the same concerns and the same problems and issues, and not being knowledgeable about the home buying process. I thought she knew a lot more about the home buying process than she really did when we first started, but it actually turned out she didn't, which was very surprising to me. But it worked out in the end, and we closed no problem.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Warren. And you know what? It's amazing because we learn from each and every deal, and that's how we learn is from each deal we do. We have to ask ourselves, how'd it go? What went well? What didn't go so well? And what can I learn from it? And I'm glad, Warren, that you brought up the fact that your sister, just because it was a family or friend, doesn't mean that we treat them any different. As a matter of fact, it's one of those things that's a real stickler, because a lot of times I've heard family and friends that said, I really do not want to utilize this person, even though they're my family or friend as a realtor, because I don't value them, or they're always talking about their clients when they're over, or acting in an unethical or unprofessional manner, or they feel that they kind of get not the same treatment because they don't, you assume that they know things. So what I tell people is, if you're going to service family or friends, tell them, sit them down and say, you know what? You are my family, or you are my friend. I want us to continue to have a relationship past this real estate transaction, and you're hiring me as a realtor, and I want to make sure that I'm providing you with a great professional experience. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're providing them with that same experience. You're hiring me as your realtor. So here's what you can expect from me as your realtor, just like anyone else, no different. And sometimes I've had people say, you know what, it's not necessary, Sean, you don't have to go through all that with us. And I say, you know what, it's really important for me, for you to hear me out and hear what I have to say through this process, so you can know, because guess what? We could get aggravated with them on the other side. So we want to make sure, they know what to expect, and vice versa. So it's really important in the process for doing that. And for us to learn moving forward, because what do we learn from each deal, right? We want to avoid that chaos and confusion later on in the process of being as crystal clear as we can in the beginning. All right, well, why don't you guys it's 9:48. Let's take like a 10-minute break. We'll start back up at 10 o'clock, and we'll go ahead and try to figure out this PowerPoint. And if not, we'll keep moving along as we are. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in 10.
That's good.
All right, guys, how are we doing? Can you guys see the PowerPoint presentation in the back?
Yes.
Awesome.
Great.
Okay, so I think we're going to be back on track with the presentation. We just had the written part, and then now we're going to be on track with the PowerPoint presentation. So welcome to the new folks just joining us. This is value proposition, and we'll just keep going. So everybody's doing okay?
Doing great.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Just checking in, guys, making sure you're all right at any point. If you need anything, unmute yourselves and let me know. So thanks for being here. Thanks for your patience and flexibility. Much like a real estate transaction, this is what happens, right? Things are always perfect. We have to adjust ourselves and figure out, hey, what can we do to help out? What can we do to just improvise and be patient and see what we can do? Okay. So a lot of times that's what happens. So as we know, real estate has undergone significant changes in the past few years, especially most recently. Investors have come in with the intent to disrupt our industry, and they have, really. Not to mention the things that have happened for us, since the beginning of the year with COVID and with all kinds of other things that have made it even more unusual than normal. However, who are your competitors? This really assist with commission costs. It assists with some companies moving forward, trying to eliminate the agent altogether. So we have to really provide that value to others to make sure that we're staying on top of our game, right? That we're still out there providing that value to buyers and sellers. So we ask, who are your local competitors? Who are you competing with for your clients in your commissions? Anybody have any insight into that? Who our competitors might be?
Well, most recently, Zillow, apparently, from
True.
their most recent announcement by starting in select marketplaces. But who knows? They could grow
Absolutely.
to our market.
You're right, Warren. That's a good answer. Zillow, big competitor. A lot of times our clients are calling us saying, hey, I saw a listing on Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com or wherever before we even know about it. So they are a competitor. And could they click on there and get an agent from there? You bet. That's right, Julie. So we better make sure we're staying on top of it and we're staying in touch with those folks who need help. That provides value to them. Good deal, guys. Anybody else?
Well, obviously, all the other real estate agencies.
True. So you have to set yourselves apart. Good, Julie, because if there's thousands of agents, what would make somebody utilize our services on the buying or selling in? We've got to provide that special edge. We've got to provide that value. So we have to ask ourselves, what is your value proposition? If you don't have one, we've got to develop one. It's something that sets you apart, that says, hey, here's why you should utilize my services. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. Let's keep going. So our technology, that helps set us apart. We can say that we have apps, we have websites, that we not only put a yard sign up and put something in the MLS, but we provide additional layers for technology. We provide, Keller Williams is a huge technology company, that we provide all of these things for them. So we have to, make sure that we let them know about this, buyers and sellers, because they're going to ask, why should I utilize your services? Tell me what sets you apart from others. So we have to, a lot of times it's, we have to make sure we're explaining things in a way that makes sense and we're answering their questions, because they're going to ask us these. So practice them. Practice your responses in the mirror. Practice them in the car. Rehearse them sort of like scripts to know what you're going to say that makes sense and something that's real for you in a way that provides value to them, because it really does help. Helps them understand, and it helps us process the information so we know what to say. All right. So how do, we counter other people's values propositions? There's all kinds of things there, that go into the value proposition. It could be that, we use our strengths. We use, we're going to provide you with a great experience. We're going to help you get your home sold, get you the most amount of money in the least amount of time with the least amount of problems. Maybe that's your deal. Maybe you want to communicate, help you with them every step of the way so they know what's coming up next. Maybe you provide, something specific that's different from that, that helps set you apart, that provides value. So whatever it is, you figure it out. What is it? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And if you have some weaknesses, work on those, improve those. So that helps us develop our proposition, okay? So here's a great thing about being with Keller Williams. But as far as technology, the company is committed to adding to your value proposition. So in addition to your value proposition, you have all these other layers that can help you, such as technology, such as the MLS, such as your skills for marketing on social media or putting ads out there, whatever it is, you know, that makes it unique to you. So we just have to have those into play. So there's different types of agent sites that can be used. There's different types of IDX sites that gets things out there and routes them on the internet so people can shop for homes at night. We have to let them know we have some of that stuff available to us too, that it's not just our competitors and not other companies, but we have that stuff available. But if we don't let them know, they might not know, you know? So we have to be careful on not omitting that information from telling them. We have to let them know. So we have the app, we have all that good stuff. So we increase our value with technology, okay? So it says the activity is to create your value proposition. So you've got to stop and think about what that is for you. What does it look like for you? And you've got to create that. Think about it, digest it, and process it, write it down, just like your goals, put it in front of you. You have to have, in order for you to be successful with your goals, you have to have a relationship with them. Just like people, in order to be successful with people, you've got to have a relationship with them. So listen to them, be there for them, find out what they want. Same thing with your value proposition. Who are you? What defines you? What, which values do you bring that would be beneficial? Now, are we going to be a perfect match for everybody? No, we're not. It's just the fact of the matter that we're just not going to be a perfect match for everybody. But we have to know who we are, what we bring to the table, and what value we can bring. So we have to be able to communicate that to them. Okay? So think about what those things are. Now, if we had a group of y'all in here, y'all all, a lot of you are on Zoom, and we have a small group in person, so it's difficult to stop and do an activity such as that. So just think about what those things are for you.
I'm going to jump in on that.
Yes.
And say that this weekend I created my Keller Williams website and my app. So
Awesome.
I have a lot of clients who love to use the app, so I can send them my app so that they're using one.
That's fantastic. So Natasha is over here participating live in class, and she's saying that over the weekend she worked on her app and her website, and she's driving activity, so she has her own branded to her, which all of you can do through Connect. So that's a great thing to do, Natasha. That way you can say, hey, here's what sets me apart. Here's part of the value that I provide, not only working for a phenomenal, amazing company surrounded with supportive agents who help me in any way that I need it and have people to go to answer questions and provide training, all that kind of stuff. I also have this amazing app that's branded to me that can be used.
That way they're not jumping on my thing. Really.
There you go.
So they're on my app using it. And I just followed all of the videos and stuff that were on the training.
I like that. And it was user-friendly for you? Good.
Got it figured out.
That's awesome, Natasha. I love that. Thanks for sharing. That's good. So Natasha says that she finds it beneficial because she designed her app by following the simple basic steps that were available on the Connect site that helped her brand it to herself. So now she can share her app, which is a great form of technology, with them, the buyers or sellers, so they're not out there looking on Trulia or Zillow and all the competitors' websites. So that's awesome. So there's so many things we can do, so many things to learn. We have to take bits and pieces, think about between now and the end of the year, what you want to get out of it, what you want to take away, and get small bits and pieces and instill those into your business and continue on through the new year. In each deal that you do, figure out how you can improve in that area, what you learned. And each deal is a little different. So you'll learn a little something different from each one, but it should be the same process and system to carry you through. Good job, guys. Anybody else? All right, we'll keep moving. So there's 3 aspects of service for us to deliver value in building success. So defining your value, know and state your value. Okay, we have to define our value. What is it? What is our value? Which value do we provide? We have to know it and be able to tell it and communicate it. And then we recap it and present your ahas. So does anybody have anything they want to share as far as their value or a way that they do provide value or anything such as that they want to share?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, awesome. Thanks,
I
Warren.
think with value in terms of like, let's go back to Zillow becoming a competitor in the
Mhm.
marketplace, right?
Yes.
So we as agents, as personal agents that have these relationships with our clients, or the ability to develop those relationships, gives us an edge over Zillow because it's still a very impersonal experience.
Mhm.
From what I've heard, from just reading and just talking to other agents and seeing what other agents are saying about it. It's just a very impersonal experience, and people are looking for that actual connection more than ever. So I think just the ability for us to actually be a person in the room that someone can actually talk to is a lot better than just this nameless agent that they get assigned. I don't know exactly how Zillow is going to assign agents or how that's going to all work. But yeah, I think that's one of the values that we all offer currently right now.
I agree, Warren. Thanks for sharing, because it's so important to have that warm, soft touch for somebody to look at, somebody to be there, somebody to know you're there. Again, that trustworthy factor, that communication factor, that relationship factor to know you're real. I actually had a client I worked with during coronavirus, quarantine. And then once we met, they were like, wow, I'm so relieved to have met you in person and to know that you are real. It's interesting because they in their mind, because it was a rental, it was a lease, and in their mind, they weren't sure if it was some type of scam, if I really existed. They weren't sure until they met me and they saw me in person. Then it became real, and then they were able to feel okay. So they had that sigh of relief, and we're grateful for that. And they actually did say those words. I'm glad to have met you and know that this property exists, and to know that you are real and that we're not being taken advantage of. So it's really important to people to know that, and for us to have that relationship with them, because this is a very relationship-based business. So good. Awesome. Anybody else? All right. So if there are thousands of agents, why should somebody, pick us, over someone else? We have to distinguish ourselves. What makes us different? What sets us apart? We have to figure that out and be able to know ourselves well enough to know this information and come up with it, and then be able to communicate it to others. So that's kind of where this comes from. It's just distinguishing ourselves with the information that we know. And it doesn't have to be rocket science. Like I told you, sometimes if you come up with a blank and it's difficult and you can't think of anything, and you've been in the business for a little bit and have sold a few houses, and somebody says, so tell me why I should hire you. I get things done. I get homes sold. You know what? I've had people say that, and I'm like, you know what? Perfect. It's better than stumbling or saying nothing. So something as simple as that, until you figure it out, is okay. Okay? But do figure it out. So in the participants guide on page 12 and 13 is where you can go back and craft your value proposition in there. In your value proposition, you want to make sure it's unique, memorable, and persuasive. It's something that's different. I'm a realtor and I'm going to put a sign in your yard and put it in the MLS. It doesn't sound fantastic, right? So we have to put it in a way that helps make people, make it stand out, make it unique. Make it persuasive, that expresses the true value of you, who you are, and what you're doing to earn your commission. Sometimes they'll ask, I think they'll say statements a lot of times because they have no idea what it is we do. I think they think we open the door, we show the house, and then we just collect a lot of money for doing nothing. I really think their perception could be that a lot of times.
I let them know different places that I'm going to market there.
Okay. Natasha says she lets the client know different ways that she's going to market their house in different places. That's important. Yeah, that's a good thing to do. Let them know, hey, here's what you can expect from me Here's what I would expect from you as a buyer or seller. And here's what sets me apart. And here's some of my marketing ideas. What if part of your marketing plan was you're going to have professional photos taken? That's a marketing plan. You're putting in the MLS. You're putting up a sign. You're also going to put up a directional rider at the end of the subdivision. Those are all marketing plans. You're going to put it on the Keller Williams, site where it's going to be routed out to, thousands of people on the internet. Those are all critical pieces of your unique marketing plan. A lot of times we think it might not be significant to tell them this stuff, but it's really important that they hear even the minor, small stuff. Even if they're a family or friend, don't assume that they know what you're going to do. Okay.
I also mentioned that I'm going to do open houses.
Ah,
Like I'm gonna
okay.
do the broker open house and the
Good.
public open house, because I actually have a friend who put her house on the market with a different company,
Mhm.
and her agent.
And they didn't offer that? And what you can do, Natasha, it's great. Natasha mentions that she also mentions to them that she can do an open house with brokers, that she can also do with agents. She can also do a public open house. And it's also important to ask them if they're okay with that. So we offer that as a service and then ask. I've had to buy a lot of foot covers, disposable face mask and things like that for sellers during showings. Sanitizer, ask them to put it out, have the shoe covers available or give specific instructions, during this time of uncertainty right now. So that could be part of our plan for showings to make them feel safe, know that they're taken care of. And if they say, look, I appreciate the opportunity to do an open house, but I really don't want anybody coming through here besides qualified buyers. That could be part of your showing, only qualified buyers. So there's different types of things in there that can, help us to let them know, hey, we're really going above and beyond in trying to provide you with as many things as we can do to get your home sold.
It gives you more.
That's right. Good job. All right. Thanks so much. So does anybody have a value proposition right now in the group? Anybody have one? Or y'all still working on them? Everybody still working on them? It's a good thing to do. It's all good. Hey, all right. So we'll just keep going, guys. We're going to distinguish ourselves and be sure if you say that you're going to do something, that you do it. So we want to make sure if you say you're going to do something, be sure you do it. So remember, we want to, under promise and over deliver. We don't want to over promise and under deliver. We want to do the opposite. So it's okay to tell them something, say, look, I can get that back, that CMA, the market analysis or the numbers back to you by Friday. And then Wednesday, you look like a winner when you've got that in. But if you say I can get it to you Wednesday and it doesn't happen, then that's an issue. So make sure if you say you're going to do something, you're going to call back at a certain time, you're going to provide market reports, whatever it is, that you do it. So follow back up. If you say, okay, call me in a couple of weeks, go to your calendar, whatever form you use, and mark down, call such and such client this day and time, because you need to follow back up. We spoke 2 weeks ago, and I know you said to get in touch with you in a couple of weeks. So I'm just calling to touch base and see how things are going. What do you think they're going to think? You care? They're going to think, you think they're important. They're going to be more likely to utilize your services. It's true. So all of that stuff helps set you apart. So a value proposition isn't just something you say, it's something you deliver on, okay? It's something not only that we say that we believe in, but we do. So our actions speak louder than those words. But first we have to come up with how do we apply it? What is it for us? What makes us unique? So we ask, what kinds of knowledge, are you expected to have? What truly sets you apart from your competitors? Those are the types of questions we need to be asking ourselves, okay? Got somebody else hopping on. So we should also have, general market knowledge, including the type of market we're in. If somebody asks us if it's a seller or buyer's markets, or if the rates are down, we should be able to answer these general questions. A lot of times we need to know what's going on in our community, all the time to keep abreast of these things, because we should be able to tell them, hey, did you guys know that they're putting in such and such in town and this is great, or, that sort of thing. So it's really important for us to stay abreast of what's going on. This continuous drive for knowledge and improvement is part of our 6 personal perspectives. So these types of things we continue to learn. We want to master things to the level. That's why you take classes over and over and over, because each time you come, you take a little bit from each class and you build on those, and eventually you've mastered the art of that subject. So we do have a class called 6 Personal Perspectives. It's really helpful as well. All right, guys, just going through some things, making sure we didn't miss anything. So we want to be able to create a stellar experience with the services you provide. We want to be able to create that experience that sort of, that makes these folks go, wow, that was phenomenal. That was amazing. I felt relieved. What you want to hear at the end of the deal is that they felt less stress, that, if you've got issues going on during the deal, don't impose it on them. Keep it between you and the other agent. And at the end of the deal, that client hopefully is saying, wow, that was a pretty amazing experience. And Natasha made my life a lot easier. And I'm so grateful that you were here, that your services guided me through. I always felt like I knew what was happening next. And it was such a great experience. I'm really going to be able to feel confident and comfortable recommending you to someone else who needs real estate. So what are you going to do with that person? Stay in touch. Stay in touch with that person. Stay in touch. Put them on a drip campaign. Keep in touch. Do something, set up your yearly budget for things. It doesn't cost anything to call somebody once a quarter, to shoot out a text message, do an email by newsletter, go through and use the resources that we have and connect. Go through there and set them up with stuff that doesn't cost a lot of money. A lot of this is just about them knowing you care, them knowing you're there, them knowing that after they close, you didn't forget about them and they didn't forget about you because you kept that from happening. Okay, so create that stellar experience. The 3 aspects of service are knowing the purpose of real estate, your value proposition, and your fiduciary role. We keep hearing about these 3 things. They must be really important. They all contribute to the same goal, which ensures that you provide the best experience for your client. So it's now that you understand these things a little more, it's on you to deliver the best experience that you can and to find out more about them and to practice it. Get a partner. If we have enough people in the class live, we could do it, or break out in Zoom sessions, but I know it's a far stretch, right? So what you want to do is get an accountability partner, get someone who you can partner up with, and do like a little mock listing. Think about what sellers might say, what they might ask you. And I know sometimes it can be awkward or uncomfortable for you trying to figure out how to say it. I mean, think about it. Sometimes just something as simple as, tell us about yourself, can be awkward or uncomfortable in a certain situation, okay? And remember, it's not all about us, it's about the client. It's about the buyer, the seller. They don't want to know all about us, so make it about them. Tell me what brings you guys to sell. Where are you headed? What's your time frame look like? Oh, wow, we need to get your house on the market really soon because the average days on the market in your subdivision is X. So that puts you in a great light to show them, hey, I know what I'm talking about. I care about you, and let's get a plan here and get this moving to get your home sold and get you in Florida in 60 days. Okay? Then you have to execute that plan. All right. So what qualifies as an excellent real estate experience? What services are you or your office responsible for providing? That's the way we tell them, here's what I expect from you, here's what you can expect from me. Okay? What resources can we have that can help? Do we have people that are photographers? What about stagers, landscapers, cleaners? What if they need some help? What if they say, Julie, do you know a good carpet cleaner? Or can you provide a moving company? We need to be able to have some resources. Or do you know a good agent in Florida? I'm going to need you to connect me to somebody. Or we want to be able to be that consultant and that professional that can provide them with the tools they need. Hey, here's some excellent. Now, why would you recommend somebody because you've maybe had a good experience with them? Are you going to recommend anybody who's given you kind of a funky experience or you've heard bad things about? No, because it's a reflection on you, right? So we want to be sure we're providing these folks with great resources that they can use, that we know we've had a good experience from. The same thing's going to happen to us. We're going to provide a good experience and they're going to feel comfortable recommending us. So we've got to figure that part out, okay? So you should also develop relationships with your businesses in towns, that might need to move, such as doctors that move in town, dentists, hairstylists, pet services, anybody you do business with. What about the old concept of driving up at the bank? Anybody still go to the bank in person? I do, you know, not all the time, but sometimes I do. And it's all about relationships. So make it a point, if you can, once we can go in places more comfortably, you know, go in, pay your insurance bill, go in, make it a point. The holidays are coming up, great time, get in there, maybe, you know, send out a holiday card, whatever. It doesn't even have to be holiday. It could be a fall foliage kind of thing, whatever. There's all kinds of things you can do. Be creative. You live in a subdivision, make up some little door hanger things with your cards in it and some kind of trinket or saying on there about how you can help them, you know, sell their house or whatever it is, and put those out. Whatever it is, block parties, yard sales. At your yard sale, you could have something out there, you know, to draw business. It's just be in relationship with people and help them understand what you do and how you can help them. It's coming from a service side. Here's how I can help you, or somebody you know, okay? So uphold the standards, okay? And also you wanna kind of interview your partners and your resources. You wanna interview them. You wanna surround yourself with an effective, efficient team. So if you're thinking about utilizing a lender's services, sit down and ask them, hey, I just wanna, you know, I just thought about using your services, and I just want to ask you a few questions. What's the process look like if a buyer comes to you? How do you communicate with me as the agent, with the buyer? Do you work locally with title companies? What do things look like? Do you have an online application process, or do you have an in-person option as well? Interview these folks, you know, ask whatever you need to, but find out and try to utilize people that match your values. Okay, so ahas to achievement, a recap. So how has your thinking changed, right? It's all about mindset, guys. 95% of what we do is mindset. The other 5% is lanya, right? It's everything else. But 95% of it is up here. So we've got to be careful. You know, which books are we reading? What are we watching on TV? Who are we surrounding ourselves with? What type of conversations are we having? All these things help feed in to what we need and want, okay? Start your day off right. Okay, all these things. What ideas or mindsets were new? What can you instill? What do you feel differently about? Was what meaningful to you today, etc. So tell me more about that so far. Do you feel differently, or is your mind different, or are you generating some things in your head that are maybe helpful for behaviors or actions coming up, or tools and models? Feel free. You're in a safe environment.
I feel like I really need to focus on structuring mine more towards my strengths and letting go of some of my inhibitions about the things I'm not so good at, and just really streamlining that and getting it out there, and realizing it's a fairly hyper competitive market. So just focus on those things I can do and let those other things just kind of go to the wayside until I get more experience.
I love that, Julie. Thanks for sharing, because it's so important to know we're not perfect. We're never going to know everything. There's always going to be something to learn, and focus on what you can control and you do feel confident about, and project that and keep moving forward. And as you do each deal, learn what you can from it and go on to the next. And just provide that experience that's you. Provide that experience that reflects who you are as a person and an agent and what your values encompass, and just go from there.
All right. a shameless plug. I'm doing a photo shoot for my neighborhood for
Oh, how cool.
for Halloween Day.
Oh,
I
how
had the photographers
nice.
Come out and set up a mini session.
That's
Everyone gets to
awesome.
come take a photo.
I like
And
that.
they get a free digital photo,
Okay,
and my photographer's gonna get the leads, because she gets all these people to try to sell more pictures too.
that's fantastic. So it's a win-win for both of you,
So
right?
it's not me asking for business,
Mhm.
it's just me doing something nice.
But what
for
could
the
result in that, such as a neighborhood event? Natasha's saying that she's doing a little event in her neighborhood for Halloween for her photographer resource to come over and take the pictures. So she'll capture what? Their information, their name, perhaps their phone number and email, lots of names and numbers for your database. So is that directly going to impact you that day, that time?
Not at all, but I'm gonna hand out my cards, and I have some football magnets to give out.
Absolutely.
Some with my name on it, my business information.
That's
They
fantastic.
get to spend some time talking to me, and then they have a connection with me.
That's great. That's great. It's great. I love it. Thank you for letting us know, because it's really important to share what we're doing to help others, because, you know, focus in. The best place you can do is focus in on your neighborhood, focus on the people you know. They already know you and hopefully like you. Social media is out there, your friends and family, your neighborhood. So doing things such as that, whether it's a little block party or yard sale combined with other resource kind of things, you could do a drawing or something, you know, for a door prize or something at your event. You know, networking with the community, getting out there and just meeting people. The more people you talk to, the more relationships you form, the more business you're going to have. So always come from a place of contribution and be real intentional and proactive about what you're doing. And like Gary Keller says, if you're being the best you can be, the money will follow. It's true.
I try to do something like for the holidays and
Mhm.
stuff, for Memorial Day, I put flags out at everybody's mailbox.
Oh, nice. I love it.
With my card on it and everything.
Smart. Smart.
Yeah.
So do you plan those out all year?
I do.
Okay, so it's a good idea to do. Maybe think about, you know, now we're getting to the end of the year, so you've got to think, what am I going to do between now and the end of the year
Right.
to be in touch with people, or to reach out, or kind of put your touch on people, whether it be a phone call, text, email, mailer, whatever it is, you know,
I
something.
mean, I'll drop a few things off without bothering them, without saying hi or
Right.
anything. But this card, I'm actually gonna door knock and say,
Very
"Hey,
good.
you know, I want you to come to this.
I love it.
And then that way we can have more interaction.
Personal. There you go.
I just don't want to bug them every time.
That's okay. And you're helping them.
Right.
Because how great would that be? Maybe they haven't had pictures this year because of COVID, and their kids have gotten older, you know, have grown this year, and they haven't been able to capture that because they couldn't go. So
Right.
you're helping them and providing value. Very good. I love it. Good job. Anybody else? So we've got so many tools, models, systems that we can use. We have to figure out what we need to use. We can't use everything all at once, but we can slowly creep in with little things one at a time that can really make a difference. So we've got to keep all those things in mind for us. So once you have a unique value statement and we know what it means to deliver it, then, you know, we might feel more confident in responding to people when they ask us. We'll get to know ourselves a little better. And sometimes we don't know ourselves well enough to know what our core values are, or have ever really explored. We might have thought about it, but we haven't really explored it to the level of making it our own for us. So that's a really cool thing to do. It's also a good time of the year that we can create a vision board, you know, put our goals in writing, get everything out there that really is going to help encompass our business to the level of being in front of us and getting up every day and looking at our, you know, value proposition, looking at our goals, our pictures, our words, and really processing it in our minds and hearts to make it become real over time. Okay, nothing happens overnight, nothing happens easily, or it's not always fun, you know, but we get there in a way that makes sense for us. And hopefully, you know, you get to your destination, but don't forget along the way to enjoy the journey before you arrive. Okay. All right. So spark goals to set your career on fire. So here's some things you can do. And let's back up one more to this one. The goal of our time together today is to help you think, feel, and act and use what you've learned to ignite your passion and help you achieve your big why. If you're not sure what your big why is, if you're not sure why you get up every morning and put your feet on the ground and get dressed and get out and go knock on people's doors or set up things or come to classes, then we've got to think about that first and foremost. It has to make sense. It has to be a why. Why do we do this? Because that's going to help drive us forward. Okay. So we have to learn that, what we're passionate about and why we're doing it. So it's really important. So we take the time to reflect on what we've learned. It's important in building our confidence and celebrating our growth. So that's really important for us, because if we come to class and we keep coming to class over and over and over, but we never implement anything or do anything from the class, we're not going to be able to grow and move forward. So in order to experience growth, we have to stop, process it, and implement at least 1 or 2 items from each class in order to help us grow our business. So we want to help you personally and professionally. It's part of the journey, okay? So we want to build daily habits. We want to build our database. We want to practice scripts. We want to generate leads. And we want to practice contracts, because it's really important that we know contracts, that we know what's in those contracts and that we know how to present it to our folks, our buyers and sellers. Because if we don't know what's in the contract and we can't explain it or answer those questions, how are we going to answer their questions? And if we don't know something, it's always okay for you to say, you know what, it's a great question. I'm not 100% sure the answer, but I'm going to find out. That's why there's a section in there that says designated agent and brokers. Because if you can't answer the question as an agent, you come to one of us as the broker, So associate broker or sponsoring broker would be for legal, but associate brokers would be for contract questions. And we have contract questions each and every month. Contract classes each and every month to answer your questions about that. So you can come in person or on Zoom, or of course in between, text us or call us or email us. Be glad to help. So let's talk about some goals to set your career on fire. 10 contacts added, 10 conversations a day. It may seem like a lot, but if you plug it in on your schedule, you can get it done quickly. But if you try to do it and then you try to do everything else that comes your way, distractions, you might get sidetracked and derailed. So plug it in on your schedule and say, okay, I'm going to dedicate this time. Maybe I'm going to get up earlier in the morning. Maybe I'm going to do it in the evening. Maybe I'm going to do it midday. Depends on what's going on in your life. But try to plug that in. Not try, plug it in. Handwritten notes, 10, and 10 home previews per week to see what's going on and go preview those homes. If you have a buyer that lives out of state, how beneficial would it be for you to go preview the home? You can get on there and do a FaceTime with them and have them see it. Okay, so that's the overall goal of Spark, to get your first appointment. The task or the activities you need to be doing can help you reach your goals. So this is just part of the way, right? So you can use reports in Command to track your database health. You can see on Command, you scroll up and it shows you how healthy, it gives you a score. Maybe you can improve on putting their address in, or it might give you a great excuse to call the people you have in your database and say, hey, I'm updating my database. I noticed I didn't have, by the way, I haven't talked to you in a couple of months. What's going on? How are you guys doing? I've got a couple of things I was adding to my database that might be helpful. Are you still okay with me sending you mailers once a quarter? Has your address changed? Or are you still in the same spot? You hope they say the same spot because you haven't helped them move, right? So this is another way we can talk to people, and also ask for business at the end. Hey, just check it in. Are you guys planning on staying put for a while? Or are you going to be expanding or downsizing? And if they say, oh, we're all good to go, say, that's fantastic. Do you happen to know anyone else who needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? I'd be glad to help. So that's the way you can do that. So the goal with your database health should be to keep your overall score of at least 50% or greater. And if you need to improve on that, block some time out to spend on your database every day or every week. You could do like a power hour or something and say, all right, I'm going to go and add the people that I met today or this week into my database. And if I'm missing information, I'm going to call them and find out.
so you can improve your database score. Okay? All right. How long have y'all been going every day? What time is the ending time?
So it's 11 or 11:30.
Okay, we'll check. Okay, I think we're good. We're moving along pretty well so far. Hopefully everybody's okay to finish out the rest. So scripts, why is it important to learn, internalize, and personalize these scripts? We don't want to sound like a robot, right? We don't want to sound fake or like a robot or like we're reading from something. We want it to be us. So we have to personalize it and customize it to us, but yet it has to be something that we learn and internalize and feel comfortable saying. Again, it's not always comfortable sitting in front of somebody or even on Zoom if you're doing a Zoom call with a seller or buyer, which has been happening a lot, and they ask you something and you just start mumbling over yourself and stuttering because you're not sure how to answer the question. So practice it. Pick a partner. You could do it on the phone. You could do it in person, once a day, once a week, whatever works for you, and go over it. Go over some scripts. Provide some objections, okay? So first you have to lead generate. You have to generate those leads. You have to get the leads first in order to do it. But you can practice. That way when you're ready and you have an actual live person, buyer or seller, you can do this. You uncover their motivation. So tell me, you're in the market to buy a home. That's fantastic. I'd be glad to help. What does your time frame look like? Are you working with a local lender? You know, that way you're asking, hey, are you working with a lender? You know, no, do you happen to know someone that you want to work with as far as the lending side goes? Because that's a great place for us to start. And here's why. So you're uncovering their motivation. Why? If they say, oh, you know, I'm just kind of bored, been quarantined in the house, and I'm not looking to buy until next year. Okay. Is that going to be one of our A clients, like an A-list client? Probably not. Their time frame could change though, and you could ask, well, if you found the perfect home, you know, would your time frame change for you? If we could, you know, find you the perfect home that you're looking for, great condition, great price, would the time frame move up for you? Do you happen to have another house to sell? You do? Oh, okay. Let's talk about that a little bit. Are you going to need some assistance selling that house? Do you have to sell that house first before you can buy this house? So we're uncovering all this. Tell me, what do things look like for you and your family? You know, if you know they have a family, if they're single, whatever, great. Tell me what things look like. What are you looking for? Where are you looking to go? So all this information is important. Identify objections. You know, they may hand you some objections such as, yeah, I'm not looking to buy until next year. And so you don't call them for 6 months, right? We can't do that. We've got to keep in touch. We've got to keep in touch, you know, and ask them, hey, is it okay if I keep in touch with you every couple of weeks and just check in to see how things are going? By the way, I'd like to get your address and put you on our mailer. You know, we do a quarterly mailer, whatever it is. Okay, but if you say you're going to do it, then you've got to do it. If you say you're going to call every couple of weeks, you've got to call every couple of weeks. If you say you're going to do a mailer, you have to do a mailer. So these are the things. Close the deals. You know, ask them, help them think. You know, is there anybody I can connect you with right now that can help you? Speak in terms the customer understands. Just be yourself, be honest, explain what things are. We don't want to use jargon or things that they don't understand or fancy terms or assume that they know things, you know, even regardless of their occupation or anything else. And again, like we said earlier in the class, just because we think someone knows something doesn't necessarily mean that they do. So if they say, oh, you don't have to go through that contract with me, you know, it's not necessary. I've purchased a home before. Oh, I can certainly appreciate that. However, it's really important that I go through here just to make sure you understand, because these contracts change all the time. And I want to make sure you guys understand what you're getting into and make sure you're clear on the process and see if you have any questions. Okay. And then build confidence. We want to build their confidence. You know, it also builds ours. So these presentations that we do for buyers and sellers, they help us every time too. So nothing's a waste of time. Even if you feel like you fell on your face or you said something dumb, and you will, learn from it. Natasha, did you have something to say?
No.
Okay.
I was looking for something.
Okay. That's okay. So anybody have anything else to say right now about role play and scripts and things like that? Do you guys have any role play partners or script partners that you're using? If not, try to find somebody that you can go over some scripts with and do that. Sit across the table. Sit across it and watch your body language. Sit across the table and see how you interact. Try to, see how you say things, how easy it comes, rolls off your tongue, right? And how you handle objections. So try to practice this. It's important and it does take practice. And it's okay. It takes time. So role play and script practice, we're supposed to stop for 30 minutes and do this, but I think we're going to be okay without that, okay? Because we've got a lot of people on Zoom, they're not going to be able to do this, but do find a role play or script partner that you can practice with to go over these things with. It is really important. So, and if you don't know where to find them, there's a lot of them on Connect, Command, there's scripts all over the place. So we've got a lot of tools available for you. Now we have to be sure there's a compliance do not call list under federal law. Sellers and telemarketers, including real estate agents, are prohibited from calling consumers listed on the Federal Trade Commission do not call registry. So we want to make sure that we abide by these rules and we don't do anything to get ourselves in trouble. You can check the do not call list before you call. We must honor this request. Know your state and federal guidelines, update the call list regularly. You can subscribe to the registry and just be careful, be cautious about who you are calling and make sure you're following the guidelines, okay? Real play and lead generation calling scripts. That usually requires about an hour of time. So basically what would happen, you can imagine we would put everybody apart, you would generate leads and have scripts in front of you to go by, right? So you may want to get like a headset or something, or put your phone on speaker, if you're in the car, whatever it is. So you have your hands free to write things down and take notes and you're not shuffling and you'll feel more confident. Stand up when you're doing these things. Stand up and role play and talk, because when you're doing this, it's going to be really important that you're projecting your voice. You're more confident when you stand. Your stature, your posture is better. You're going to project a better voice. Stand up. You'll get some steps in and some exercise. Put a headset on so your hands free. You can write down what you need to. All of these things are going to help contribute to a better experience, okay? And practice these scripts is going to help you to become more confident in the process, okay? So before you do these things, like before you do your calls and stuff, you want to say things like, you want to stand up and say things like, I always come from contribution. Today when I call, they're going to be home, things like that. People will welcome your call. What you're doing is planting the seed in your mind for positivity and giving yourself the confidence to pick up the phone and make these calls and talk to these strangers and ask them for business, which isn't always comfortable, right? Okay, so we have to ask people, is this a good time for you? It may not be. Then again, it might be okay. So we just have to know the etiquette. Now, will we get hung up on and told no? Yes. Is that okay? Yeah, it is. It's going to happen. If you're not getting enough no's, then you're not calling enough people, because enough no's will lead you to yes. So keep going, whether it's in person, whether it's on the phone, door knocking, an event, whatever it is, you just got to get yourself out there, okay? When you've got enough business in the pipeline, you can start being in touch with all the people that you've done business with, because it's a lot easier and more comfortable to call and talk to people that know you and that, they're going to most likely answer your phone call and you feel comfortable with. So those are really important. Anybody have anything to say about any of that?
Yeah, it was interesting that you said get comfortable with the no, because that's something I've learned with is, and when I took BOLD, is James Shaw said that you've already got to anticipate that they're going to say no already.
Absolutely.
And if you already anticipate that they're going to say no, then when you actually hear it, well, it's not very surprising and you don't get panicked and all of those negative emotions or thoughts or feelings that comes with that. And so you always have to anticipate they're going to say no. And no usually is the first starting point of any negotiation. So you're actually looking for them to say no in the first place.
That's right, Warren, because what's next after that is you're going to come back. That's an objection, right? So you're going to come back. If they don't say no and hang up on us, you're going to come back with something and role play and do some objection handling at that point to figure out if you could turn it into a maybe or a yes. So sometimes a no isn't necessarily a no, or it's a no maybe right this second. So yeah, we get a little bit thick-skinned as we get in the business a little longer and we get enough no's, but don't let it get you down. Don't be sensitive to it. Don't take it personally. It is not about you. So, just keep on going. Keep on going. You're going to fall, then you're going to get back up. You're going to fall, you're going to get back up. Keep on going, because then eventually you're going to start getting yeses. And you know what all the no's do? They give you the experience and they prepare you and they get you ready and they propel you to move forward, to grow and build your business. That's what it's about. We don't need to hear yes all day long. We don't need it. We just need a few good yeses.
What
Thanks.
doesn't kill you makes you grow stronger.
That's right, Vincent. That's right.
Yay.
Yes, it's true. And that's what this business is all about. It's about learning. It's about growing. And, if we're going to take it personally, then it could be an issue. So then we'd have to work on ourselves of being confident and stronger. If you guys aren't listening to the podcast, instead of listening to the radio, I used to listen to podcasts while I'm traveling in the morning or wherever I'm going to show a house. There's some great ones. My favorite is The One Thing. There's The One Thing. There's Gary Keller, Think Like a CEO. There's so many. There's some on scripts. There's just so many on, everything you can imagine. But anything you need to get your mindset straight and work on you, this all starts from us, right? Personally, in us becoming the best version of ourselves we can be, so that we can in turn not only help ourselves feel more confident, stronger, but help others in turn. So it starts with us. How can we improve ourselves physically, have more energy, have clarity? It's by practicing, it's by doing, it's getting in the trenches and keeping on going. Okay? So be strong. You can do it. Believe in yourself. If you need support, reach out. You've got great coaches. You've got great classes. You've got great leadership. You've got a phenomenal company. So keep going, guys. Keep going. Anybody else want to share or have input? Update your contacts and follow up. It's really important for us to update our contacts. When we meet people on a daily basis or weekly or whatever it is, time block your schedule to go update those contacts we talked about and follow up. A lot of agents drop the ball with follow up. We're so busy doing the deal, working on the deal, then we close it, and then we put in the file cabinet, never see them again. So we've got to break out of that cycle and look at that person we sold a house to as a lead gen follow-up source of business, whether it's them or someone else. Because if you provided them a phenomenal experience, they're going to want to refer you, right? So you call them up. How's it going? Then you close a week later. Hey guys, how's it going? I know you've been in your house for a week. Y'all getting all moved in, unpacked? How's it going? Okay.
Now's a really good time because you can ask them, they had any damage from the storm. I did that
True.
this weekend.
Okay.
And my client actually took me on a video tour of the house. She's like, I want you to see it after we did everything.
That's fantastic.
So
Natasha says she followed up with her clients after the storm for people she sold to recently to see how they made out with the storm. What a great excuse to get in touch. Was she asking for business? Nope. Did it show she cared? Yep. Did she provide value? Yep. So there you go. So people need to keep in touch, follow up, stay in touch, and build that pipeline, build that database. And those people will be loyal to you as well, because they're going to likely remember you. A lot of people can't remember their realtor's name. They would use them again if they could only remember their name. So they become unforgettable because the realtor failed to keep in touch. So do keep in touch, do those small things. Again, not everything's going to work for everybody, so we've got to figure out what it is that's going to work for us and our business. That's what makes us unique, right? That is what makes us unique, guys. We're all different and have gifts to provide, and that's the beautiful part. All right. So get help. There's so many resources. Command, Connect. These are great ways to watch videos, to go to classes like you're doing today. Ignite, there's classes on the calendar every month on Connect that you can attend at live and Zoom, you know, however you need to. So this is fantastic. Isn't it great that you guys can sit in your home? Perhaps some of you are outside, inside at a coffee shop, maybe you're in an office, I don't know, but you're able to learn and grow. Maybe you're even in the car on the way to an appointment. But isn't it great for you to be able to learn in this way? And perhaps all of this has taught us what we need to utilize carrying forward, right? Maybe all of this, you know, or not maybe, but definitely all of this that has happened to us in these uncertain times in the past few months has created a way for us to reset and shift our minds to go, what do I want to, kind of like a deal that you do. What happened? How do I feel about it? How am I? How can I improve? Where do I want to be? How am I going to get there, right? And get the plan. And what can I learn from all this? Perhaps I can learn several things, and those are going to be different for each of you. But it's really important for us to constantly be in a state of growth, learning process, always keeping our mind and our hearts open to learning more information and to improving. And that's going to help us to reach that mastery level of being confident and, you know, building our business in a big way to support that big why that we have. So now you've got some tools that you can utilize. You're, you know, go back, you're going to create your value proposition. You're going to go time block your schedules. You're going to look at all this stuff and take the bits and pieces that you want to use. Okay. So it's really, really important that we time block these things on our schedule, that we continue learning and growing and, you know, to make ourselves successful. So make your success list. There it is. What are you going to do? To do, we can spend all day long doing to do, right? What should we do? What's the priority and what's the task? So are tasks written as observable actions or are they written as results? So that's there. So basically, we want to make sure that we're blocking this stuff on our schedule. So this is creating a success list that you know, you'll want to do and take from this. Again, we don't want to attend trainings and classes and not implement anything. So think about one or two things or perhaps more that can fill up this page to make it a success list for you based on where you are and what you need to do. Okay. All right, guys, give me some ahas and some feedback from today or anything you want to say or share before we end our time.
Well, I think you just hit the nail on the head today about a lot of different issues that really will excel most of our businesses forward. So yeah, thank you so much for teaching the class. It was very insightful today. Thank you.
Good. Absolutely. It's my pleasure, Warren. Thank you for being here because I know your time is valuable and I appreciate you spending it here and your contributions to the class as well. Anybody else?
Yeah, this is Vincent.
Hey, Vincent.
You know, I feel like I got to work harder on the models and systems. I have been, but I think I need to put more effort into that so I can be the best that I can be.
Absolutely.
So I can make my client have a dream experience and not a nightmare.
There you go. And you know, it's important to recognize those, Vincent, because it's important for us to recognize, you know, hey, after every deal, you know, how can I improve? We're always in a constant state of improvement. Every day, guys, every day we wake up, we should be in a constant state of improvement. How'd today go? What went well? What didn't go well? What can I learn? Every day. So keep striving for improvement, identify those areas and plug in a plan of action, you know, for you all to do that. Anybody else?
I think I agree with Vincent. I need to spend a little more time, and I did get some insight into working through some of the challenges of just organizing my thoughts of how I want to attack it. As you were talking, I was just thinking through some of the things that I kind of have left out of my proposal, and it just kind of sparked some ideas that I was writing down as you were talking, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that. So thank you
That's-
for that. That's
You're
great.
welcome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about. Is these things, when we surround ourselves with people, you know, who are like-minded and high-minded and helping you think in a forward motion, it helps to spark those ideas that we already had sometimes deep down in our brain, but perhaps hadn't come to the surface yet. So then once we become aware, we say, okay, how can I put this in a plan, you know, into place, into action, and see some results? So if you can take away a couple of those tidbits from every class you go to, you'll be in good shape.
Thanks for the class.
Absolutely, guys. Well, does anybody else have anything? Well, I appreciate y'all being here in Zoom and in person. I appreciate your time today. If you need anything at all, reach out, and y'all have a fantastic day.
Too,
Thanks,
Sean.
guys.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Take care.
Great session.
Thank you.